The Jamaica International Financial Services Authority, JIFSA, doesn't get anywhere near the attention it deserves. So today we're going to find out more about this agency and what they do from JIFSA's acting CEO, Rickie Davis, and how they can connect you to investments and opportunities. So joining us now is acting CEO of JIFSA, Rickie Davis. Hi, Rickie. Great to have you.
Hi, Kalila. It's my pleasure to be here.
Finally. It's been a long time in the making.
It has been, but nothing before its time, I suppose.
I've been hearing about JIFSA for about the past year and a half now, but I think the wider public probably hasn't heard of you and doesn't really know exactly what you do. So tell us who you are, your agency, and what you guys do.
Well, JIFSA, Jamaica International Financial Services Authority, is an agency currently under the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. And it's no accident that you've started to hear about us in the last year, even though we've been around for a much longer period of time than that. The reason you've started to hear about us more in the last year has everything to do with the grey list, the dreaded EU grey list, the OECD grey list. As you would know,
that's the FATF grey list?
That's the FATF grey list, yes. And of course, EU has its grey list, and then the individual countries have their own list as well. But we had been on the FATF grey list for a while, and we came off last June, which coincidentally is when you started to hear a little bit more about us. We are tasked, we're a statutory body, there's a JIFSA Act, and we're tasked with creating the environment within the ecosystem for Jamaica to be able to offer financial services, and I would add value-added financial services and fiduciary services, so that we can play in that international financial services space.
So when you say financial services, what are you referring to specifically? Is this banking, investments?
Excellent question. Traditionally, the thought is that financial services, banking, insurance, investments, that sort of thing. But we're also talking about value-added services, fiduciary services, acting as trustee, corporate administration, that sort of thing. Other jurisdictions within the Caribbean have made a name for themselves by offering those same kind of services, ironically, using Jamaican talent. And so they were using talent from Jamaica, but those opportunities were not really available in Jamaica, so to speak. Now, that type of talent, while still available, they now will be able to use it within Jamaica.
So one of the advantages is we may be able to attract some of our talent back home.
Absolutely. And talent that has developed expertise in certain areas. And I should raise my hand and say I was one of those. I spent 12 years in the BVI, working in the financial services sector. Have a good idea of how it runs. I've made a lot of contacts throughout the several jurisdictions where that is concerned. And so I think that is also an important element to bring to the table.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Now tell us what services JIFSA specifically provides.
In terms of service, we do not provide a service, so to speak. We're an enabler, we're a facilitator. So we begin the facilitation with legislation. And we've had 6 pieces of legislation that we've worked on. We're almost complete with it now. And in the last year, no coincidence again, about the last year, we've made a push to finalize those legislations.
Through legislation, JIFSA has had acts modeled on laws of leading financial services jurisdictions worldwide. The legislation includes the Trusts Act, which allows for flexibility in succession planning and family offices, the Trust and Corporate Services Providers Act, which regulates the provision of fiduciary services, as well as the Partnership Limited Act.
So right now, one of JIFSA's main roles is drafting this legislation. But when that's done, what do you do? So what else does JIFSA do?
So when that's done, we then go out and get the business to come into Jamaica to say, look, these are the services that we're offering, similar to other jurisdictions, so that where financial services is concerned, a practice, shall we say, has developed within the industry to provide certain services that, let's say, it's just more economical to provide it there than it would be on Wall Street or it would be on Fleet Street. And the professionalism and the manner in which it's done relies largely on Jamaican talent, which is here. So after that, we'll go out, find these businesses in various forms. So, for example, we could encourage it, we'll be encouraging it to invest in Jamaica, for example, in our special economic zone that offers certain incentives. There's opportunity also within the Maritime Authority for the registration of vessels using Jamaican legal persons. For that, the LLC would be ideal, and we can discuss why later. And so there are various opportunities. For example, also, Cayman they've developed a reputation, and rightly so, as a leader in mutual fund and fund administration. But there's a lot of backing work that needs to be done, the calculation of NAVs, net asset values, and so on, which they now outsource as well. So that's also an opportunity for us to take advantage of.
So you would be kind of like JAMPRO for financial services.
That comes up a lot, and yes, in a very simple term, yes, we'll be out there promoting Jamaica as a jurisdiction for financial services.
Now, we mentioned even at the start of this interview about Jamaica coming off the grey list and JIFSA's role in that. How do you keep us off the grey list? Like, what's your role in making sure we stay compliant?
So we play a role, and there are other agencies that also play a role. Companies Office plays a huge role. The Prime Secretariat out of the BOJ oversees all of that. It involves the Department of Cooperative and Friendly Societies as well, Real Estate Board. So we all have to work together to ensure that certain things or requirements from the FATF are in place so that we can stay up. So with us, it's the legislation, making sure that the legislation is compliant.
Okay, let's say I am your ideal client. I'm an international company looking to do business in Jamaica, financial services. What tax and cost consideration should I have right now?
So I mentioned the special economic zone for one as a means of foreign direct investment. At the moment, Jamaica, unlike say for example, the BVI or Cayman, we're not so much focused on the tax incentive, tax haven part of it, because the world is changing and there are certain aspects of that will change as well, such as substance requirements. But I'm not sure if you're aware of what substance requirements are, but in the past, it had been that if you set up a company in a tax neutral, low tax jurisdiction, depending on the level of revenue that you generate, you would either through a double taxation treaty or other means claim the situs for tax purposes as being the domicile where the company was incorporated. That's changed a bit so that now they have what's called substance requirements. You have to show substance that you earned a portion of that money within that jurisdiction to be able to claim that. So those jurisdictions have had to put in legislation regarding substance requirements.
So all those companies incorporated in St. Lucia, Barbados, for example.
Yes, they've had to deal with substance requirements, and in fact, in a lot of jurisdictions too, they've had to adjust their legislation in terms of company formation because of what was called ring fencing. In some jurisdictions, they had two regimes one for international business companies and one for local companies. And that's a no-no.
So walk me through the customer journey. I'm your customer now. I've heard about you. I watched this interview. I'm interested. What happens first? What happens next? How do you help me?
Right. So, first of all, we're a facilitator. We can assist you. You can call us. We'd like to do segregated accounts company, whatever. Let's use that as an example. And we'll act as a conduit with the company's office to assist you through that process. Now, on the back end, you're going to need also legal advice. You're also going to need trust and corporate services provider for company administration. It's recommended. And so you begin with what it is that you want to do. Let's say again, we mentioned JIFSA, so let's say that's what you want to do. Then you would determine what kind of structure you want it to be, a joint venture, whatever the case may be. Then you would determine all of the other things that go with it, location, so on and so forth, that takes place through the assistance of JAMPRO. Then you would want to consider how you would, exactly what field you would want to be in, or the application that you would make to the special economic zone as a user, as a developer, that sort of thing. And through it all, the agencies are there to assist. Yes? Building this out, it really requires a group effort. I heard a PM the other day at his inauguration speaking about not operating in silos and cooperation as necessary. And that is absolutely so, because for us to achieve things that we've never done before, we're going to have to do things that we've never done before.
Right. So finally, tell me, we've spoken about some of the things that you're working on. What milestones can we expect from JIFSA? What should we expect to hear in the near future?
First, that we've settled on the LLC bill and that it gets passed. And then one of the things, very important things that we want to do is to be able to now start bringing in the persons who are involved in the industry, conferences, seminars, making them available to persons locally who would not be otherwise exposed to them. By ourselves, we will be doing sensitization sessions for the various stakeholders in the private sector, the bar association, that sort of thing, the law schools, because I mention all of that because it really is a collaborative effort. We're going to need the talent coming out being prepared for what the financial services sector will offer. We're going to need the young lawyers coming out being aware that, hey, look, there is a possibility now that you can focus on trusts, being a trust, or even for those existing practitioners to include trusts as part of their succession planning. So sensitization and a very diverse, as you can see, we have a very diverse stakeholder set, from undergrad students to law students to business persons, accountants, lawyers, and so on. So we'll be working on that with our very limited staff, mind you, but we'll be working on that.
How many staff you have?
At the moment, we have 5 very overworked staff, but we've managed to do quite a bit with what we have.
I'm sure.
And
I mean, 6 pieces of legislation already is a lot.
it is, and also to prepare to address these various stakeholders. For example, I've been asked to be a panelist and to do a presentation at the Caribbean Regional Compliance Associations Convention, which is in St. Kitts next month. For us, that's a big step. It gives us a platform.
Right.
And through that, we can now start encouraging persons, as I say, to come to Jamaica, have your STEP conferences here, have your various conferences here within the financial services sector. Another sector that we've looked at also is the alternative investment sector. So initially, we're looking at mutual funds as a source of foreign direct investment, and it's still an option. But for the most part, those types of investors are investing in bonds, stocks, securities, that sort of thing, stuff that mature in 4 or 5 years. It's on the alternative side that you'll find persons interested in foreign direct investment, doing brick and mortar investment. So we're looking into that, and there are several international organizations that does that, and they host seminars and so on. So we're looking into that, seeing where they are, who is there, and the possibility of introducing ourselves into that sector as well.
Good stuff. So where do people go for hands-on help?
Where this is concerned, can contact me at JIFSA. We're in the first floor in the JAMPRO building. As you mentioned, JAMPRO. So right there. We came out of JAMPRO, actually.
Okay, makes sense.
We were a project under JAMPRO. And I think if you Google that fantastic tool, JIFSA, you'll also find our contact information.
Good stuff. Thank you so much, Rickie. Food for thought, and definitely good to know that this resource is now available.
Yes, and I'm happy to be here too. And thank you too for helping to start.
And I look forward to our future conversations because we have a lot more to learn about JIFSA. This was just our introduction.
Yes, yes, indeed.
All right, that was some good info from JIFSA's acting CEO, Rickie Davis, and I hope you've been able to better understand the opportunities that this agency presents and creates. Now, if you want to learn more, you can always follow JIFSA and visit their website. The link is in the description. You can also follow me for access to more information and more opportunities like this. And of course, let's get this money.